Hello friends, Amy Allred here from the Red Umbrella Initiative, and welcome to this month's free monthly webinar on the topic of believe. We're going to look at some ways to increase your self-confidence so you can believe in yourself. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Amy Allred. I'm a certified facilitator on the John Maxwell team. I'm the co-founder of the Red Umbrella Initiative, and I'm also a country singer on the side. And I am very delighted to be here with you in this moment. So get out your notebooks, let's take some notes, and I hope you get a few key takeaways from today that you can start to apply in your life right away. Self-esteem, as we know, is how we view ourselves, our own value, and our sense of worthiness. It's a critical component of our decision-making, risk-taking, and motivation. Those with lower self-esteem tend to believe they're not as worthy of things as others are, such as achieving their personal goals, while those with higher self-esteem embody more resiliency to overcome the obstacles because they are sure they are worth the desired outcome. Think of one thing with me that you hold a lot of value in. Maybe, for example, it's gardening. You will make sure that you put the energy in to keep your garden well watered and weeded. You may even put in the extra effort to research what flowers and plants that you are growing so that you can make sure you give them the very best conditions for their growth. That's similar to self-esteem, except that in yourself, you're caring for. You're caring for yourself, just like you would a garden that you loved. Healthy self-esteem or value in oneself breeds confidence, and confidence is described as a feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation of their own abilities or qualities. Do you see where I'm going with this? A lack of self-confidence keeps us from living our lives to the fullest. We become afraid to freely express ourselves, contribute our ideas, or even share our talents. I know I talk about this in so many videos and in almost every workshop that I teach, but did you know that only 1 in 10,000 people share the same unique strength that you have? 1 in 10,000. What that says to me is that the world around you needs you. They need you to value yourself and your gift and your talents and to offer it freely to the community around you. Benefits of becoming more confident include more happiness and enjoyment, less self-doubt, less limitations, gain strength in your capabilities, freedom from fear and anxiety, reduce stress, and natural motivation. Are you interested to see how you can make this shift happen in your life? Stay tuned. You read that right. How do you talk to yourself? Are you harsh and judgmental to yourself, or are you supporting and loving? We all talk to ourselves, sometimes even out loud. There are two distinguishable modes of talking to ourselves. Instructional, like working through a task, and motivational, such as, I can do this. This motivational self-talk is closely related to our confidence levels and what we believe we are capable of. The Faculty of Physical Education and Sports Sciences at the University of Tehran in Iran conducted a study of how motivational self-talk improved basketball abilities. They studied over 150 students, and the results concluded that positive self-talk and a can-do attitude improved their speed and accuracy immensely versus the control group who did not talk to themselves. Believing in yourself and telling yourself that you're capable of a task, even a physical one, contributes to you excelling in it. Isn't that remarkable? So what happens when you don't talk so nicely to yourself? Talking negatively to yourself can have different outcomes, but they all have a common theme. It is not productive. Negative self-talk can be fueled by a number of things. Some non-productive outcomes include irrational beliefs about yourself, a bad mood that isn't addressed, persistent pessimism, being overly critical, or fear and anxiety. These are all very real things that most of us experience, but the trick is stopping them in their tracks. If we do not reinforce our negative self-belief, did you catch that? If we do not reinforce our negative self-belief, they will have no power over us. So here's some examples. What does negative self-talk sound like? It sounds like, I'm not worth it, or there's no use, I can't do it. Or how about this one? People won't like me. I'm not enough. Or my opinions don't matter. Do not believe these things. They are wrong. I'm going to be sharing next with you some examples of positive self-talk Because our minds are powerful machines. The thoughts we produce can translate into action, and that's how we truly achieve greatness. However, if we're filling our mind with negative comments about ourselves and our circumstances, we're creating boundaries for ourselves that we otherwise would not need to overcome. Think of your mind as a computer. You must program it efficiently to run smoothly and complete its task. Your mind is the same way. So instead of the negative self-talk examples that I listed earlier, try these instead. Repeat after me, why don't you? I can handle this. I can't hear you. Or I'm making progress. I am in control of this. I'm willing to try. I will eventually get this. I have many likable qualities. I do not need to compare myself to others. I am complete as I am. And it's normal to feel this way. And my personal favorite is a quote from John Lennon. Everything will be okay in the end. And if it's not okay, it's not the end. Do you have a favorite phrase you like to tell yourself when you're presented with a struggle? I'd love you to share it in the comments below and let us know what you think. Now on to mantras and affirmations. They're two different forms of self-talk that are used specifically to cultivate self-care. Much like the positive self-talk I mentioned before, their main purpose is to rewire your brain for a more confident and optimistic outlook. The main difference is these are exclusively performed out loud. While they have a similar goal, mantras and affirmations are very different from each other. Mantras are either words or sounds in any language that evoke a deeper focus, a meditative state, or a calming emotion. Many of you are probably familiar with the word which is practiced in the yoga community. And it happens to be the same vibrational frequency as everything found in nature. That's why it is considered a sacred sound. On the other hand, affirmations are developed by neuroscientists in the 1970s with the goal of redirecting thought patterns. These tend to be incomplete sentences addressing something very specific. These too are performed out loud. Try saying some of these things every morning, maybe even looking at yourself in the mirror. It is okay for you to be uncomfortable at first. It is the hallmark of the beginning of change. I know for me, I've tried it a few times to stand in front of the mirror and say these phrases, and it is really hard in the beginning. It's really hard to keep eye contact with yourself as you say them, but I encourage you to keep doing it. So here's some examples. I love who I have become. I let go of negative thoughts and feelings about myself. I am always growing and developing. My opinions resonate with who I am. I am whole and perfect the way I am. Both mantras and positive affirmations can help with problem solving, create inner clarity, increase your positive emotions, and the likelihood of personal success. And of course, increase your confidence. What are some of your favorite affirmations to repeat to yourself? Again, share them in the comments. We would love to hear them. Habits can either propel you in the direction you want to go or way take you off track in the direction that you don't want to go. They are powerful. The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg specifically is a fantastic read on how our everyday habits affect the way we see ourselves and our likeliness of achieving our goals. He delves into defining a keystone habit as a powerful tool to uncovering your true potential. They are made successful by lending our focus to one centralized goal and seeing other routines fall appropriately around them. For example, if you're determined to develop a daily exercise routine, like me, it is likely you'll notice yourself choosing something healthier to eat. You'll wake up earlier and you'll utilize your time more efficiently once you've set this one goal and habit. Whatever your desired keystone habit may be, the idea is that working toward it will create a ripple effect in changing other routines in your life. Duhigg says, if you believe you can change, if you make it a habit, the change becomes real. That is the real power of a habit. My question for you now is, what is a habit that you're looking to implement in your life? And what ripple effects is it going to have on other habits in your life? All successful people have one unifying characteristic. They set goals for themselves. Naturally, we are always inclined, aren't we, to do what has always worked for us. Therefore, when we set goals and succeed, we're more likely to continue in that habit. This is also a huge personal development exercise, just like anything else that you want to get good at. Practice is everything. Practice setting goals for yourself and working towards them, helping you recognize your potential and strengthening your confidence in the process. Now I'm going to stop here for a moment and just say, make sure you set small, reasonable goals to start with. I know myself, I like to set these massive goals that are pretty much unattainable. But I've learned to stop and break my goal down, to start small, because it's in the starting small that we're able to reach those big goals. So a few tips to get the most out of your goal setting include taking small steps, like I just said, creating a timeline, giving yourself credit along the way, and accepting that failure is not a reason to give up. In our ever-connected world, solitude has become a dying art. We always have some way to get in contact with others, and it isn't a bad thing, but it can certainly take away from our relationship with ourselves. Learn to be your own best friend, to enjoy your own company, to laugh at your own jokes. A few of the benefits of being your own best friend include cultivating a sense of self-awareness, the ability to support and comfort yourself if needed, increased acceptance of yourself rather than punishment, and the realization that you are fundamentally worthy. Think how you would treat your best friend. Isn't that how you deserve to be treated too? Spending time alone doing things that makes you happy is a great practice to add to your life. Whether it's reading a good book or strolling in nature, the possibilities for entertainment alone are endless and beneficial. What are some things that you love to do alone? I know myself, I love to go shopping by myself. Not that I really am out looking for something or anything like that. I just like to go out and wander and talk to people and enjoy the sense of community around me and check out all the new things. Now we know that stress is unavoidable, but managing it is one of the most important ways that you can respect yourself. Meditation can do just that. Meditation works by directing your body's energy and attention to a parasympathetic nervous system, or better known as the home to the relaxation response. That one's a little easier to say. It triggers feelings of calmness and well-being, all while contributing to clarity against the limiting belief that we have about ourselves. Meditation can be used as an incredible tool for building confidence in several ways. It helps you confront the negative beliefs that you have created about yourself. It invites the opportunity to spend quality time with yourself, and it can be a very beneficial habit to add into your day. Do you have any experience with meditation? I think it is a very important practice, and I love what Carl Jung says. He says that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will control your life, and you will call it fate. Did you catch that? Until you make the unconscious conscious, so until you recognize those beliefs, they will control your life, and you will simply call it fate. Now, what about journaling? Journaling is not only for creative purposes, but for emotional health as well. Keep a journal around for times that you're feeling truly stuck on something that's bringing you down, or even when you accomplish something that you want to celebrate. Both situations can equally serve the purpose of boosting your self-confidence. Writing out negative experience is a tactical way of getting them out of your head and towards a more constructive solution. Maintaining a gratitude or awesomeness journal puts you in the positive position of recognizing all the good about yourself and your life on a day-to-day basis. Whether it's written in a notebook or an online platform or typed on the notes section of your phone like mine are, you can start at any time. And here I'm going to give you some practical prompts to get started on your journaling. So here's some prompts to help you get started with your self-confidence, to practice self-love, and begin writing your journey. Ready? What are you grateful for? How do you want to feel tomorrow? How did you surprise yourself this week? What are you really good at? How would your best friend describe you? What makes you unique? Who appreciates you? What will you accomplish in the next 5 years? What is the best compliment that you have ever received? What emotions do you associate with confidence? Why don't you write a letter to your body thanking it for all that it does for you? Why don't you share in the comments below if you have any other ideas, any other journal prompts that we can all follow and take note of? While we're on the subject of journaling, an effective way to really check in with yourself and to establish some motivation to reach your goals is to write a letter to your future self. Can be a very insightful experience. It puts you in the now, and it represents the things you want to be sure to remember. Imagine writing a letter addressed to yourself to you 5 years from now. What would you say? What kind of questions would you like to ask? What goals would you have want to achieve? As you write your letter, you'll begin to think of the actions you could take now to ensure that the letter is relevant in the future. Write it up with pen and paper, seal it in an envelope, and keep it in a safe place. Who's going to try this with me? Anybody? I'm going to try it. A visual interpretation of your goals, values, and passions is a great addition to your living space. A vision board in particular can be used to motivate you, cultivate gratitude, and express your creativity. Here's how. Define your intentions. What do you want? How do you want to be feeling? What is it you feel that you need? Gather your supplies of choice. You could use a poster board or a blank sheet of paper. Find images that resonate with your intentions from the internet, magazines, or any other resource that you would like. Then create. Make sure to create a mix of words and images that fit the qualifying theme of your vision. Place them in a way that makes you feel good and glue away. Place it in an area of your home that you will see it regularly. Now, everyone's going to look completely different, and that's the point. How wonderful. Maybe you want to cultivate a sense of joy and you want to include images that make you feel joyful. Or maybe it's security. If that's the case, you want pictures that make you feel safe. Whatever your goal is, keep in mind you're making this for you. Now, for those of you who don't have experience with vision boards or want to try something new, next month in March, we are going to be hosting a vision board webinar. So make sure you register for that. We're going to be going through in detail how to do it. Now, a strong support system is an important tool when life gets a bit heavy. As mentioned before, building your self-confidence is a work in progress and truly not a linear experience. Some days you're going to feel better than others. Some days you're not going to be able to find solace alone, and others will be longing for external support. All of that's okay. There is no substitute for having people you can trust and rely on, making you feel good. Turn to family and friends when you need to talk rather than getting caught up in the dread of negative self-talk. It can be a loop, so don't allow yourself to stay there. Reach out for help. Friends and family and people in your life who are there to support you can lift your spirits and help you recognize the faulty beliefs that you're manifesting about yourself in these trying times. So far, we've discussed how to create greatness for ourselves with how we think, reach our goals, and who we surround ourselves with. But there's more. The way we present ourselves is not only an indicator of our confidence, but also a way to strengthen it. We have all heard, when you look good, you feel good. But have you heard about power poses? Power poses are simply the body language we embody when interacting with people that emulate and create confidence. I'm going to share a link at the bottom of this comment. Make sure you have a check on the link. It's a TED Talk about power poses and how to use them to create confidence in your life. Now, this by far is the most important part of the process. Some days you're going to feel more confident than others, but it is a huge feat to love yourself despite it all. You are perfect. You are perfect, just the way you are. Even when you don't feel like it, you deserve to be loved, and you should remind yourself of that regularly. Everyone has different ways of expressing their love for themselves. But here's a few great ideas that I advocate for. Take a nice long bath. Go for a walk outside. Stay in bed one morning and cuddle up with a nice cup of coffee. Make plans with an old friend, or unplug for a weekend. Visit your favorite coffee shop or plan an adventure. These are only a very small fraction of the things that you can do to show yourself that you are loved. How do you like to do that? Again, share with us in the comments. How do you like to show yourself love? Now, here's a few of my favorite quotes. I want you to pick your favorite out of all of these, write it down, and come back to it when you need a reminder. Buddha says, you yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve love and affection. Mark Twain said, a man cannot be comfortable without his own approval. Eleanor Roosevelt, remember always that you not only have the right to be an individual, but an obligation to be one. Ralph Waldo Emerson says, what lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny compared to what lies within us. Brigham Young says, why should we worry about what others think of us? Do we have more confidence in their opinions than we do of our own? That's one of my favorites. Malcolm Forbes says, too many people overvalue what they are not and undervalue what they are. Or Louise Hay says, you've been criticizing yourself for years and it hasn't worked. Why don't you try approving of yourself and see what happens? Oscar Wilde said, to love oneself is the beginning of a lifelong romance. And Eleanor Roosevelt, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. I want to thank you all for sharing this time with me today, and I hope you wrote down a few key ways that you can start loving yourself better. Even just having the awareness that you are worthy, that you have something to offer, is enough to make you start loving yourself. Like we talked about in habits, once you start believing one, it starts rippling out to the other areas of your life. And I want to say today that you are worth it, that you are lovable, that there is a place in this world for you, and that we need your strengths and gifts and talents, that the community and your family around you needs you. So be brave, be bold, be confident, and learn to care for yourself. Now, if you have any questions on this, we would love to answer them. Drop them in the comments below. Send us an email at info@redumbrella.ca. We would love to hear from you. And make sure you sign up for next month's webinar. We're going to be doing vision boards together. It's going to be a really great time where we learn to take all of these things and put them together. In the meantime, have a wonderful day. Thank you again for joining me.